Ever found yourself questioning your grammar skills? Well, you're not alone. In fact, even the most seasoned writers occasionally stumble over the complexities of the English language. Grammar is a crucial part of effective communication. It's the structural framework that holds our words together and gives them meaning. Without it, messages can become confusing and misinterpreted. In today's digital age, where communication is often reduced to shorthand texts and tweets, grammar is more important than ever. It's the difference between being understood and being ignored. So it's essential to know the common grammar mistakes that people make and, more importantly, how to avoid them. In this video, we'll dive into some of the most common grammar mistakes that people make. We'll explain each one, provide examples, and give you tips on how to avoid these errors. From the misuse of there, and there to the confusion between your and your, we've got you covered. Get ready to boost your English skills and avoid these common grammar pitfalls. Let's dive into one of the most common mix-ups in English grammar. There, and there. These words may sound similar, but they each have a unique use and meaning. Starting with there, it's a possessive adjective used to show ownership. For instance, their dog is very friendly. Here, there is indicating that the dog belongs to them. Moving on to their. This is a contraction of they are. It's used to describe a group of people or things. For instance, they're going to the park. Here, there is short for they are. Finally, there is used to refer to a place. For example, the books are over there. In this case, there indicates a specific location. So there shows ownership, there is a contraction of they are, and there points to a place. Remember, context is key in deciding which there, or there to use. Another pair that often confuses people is your and your. Let's dive into these two. Your is a possessive adjective. It indicates ownership or possession. For example, when we say, "This is your book," it means the book belongs to you. Your is the word to use when something is owned by you. Now let's talk about your. This is a contraction of you are. It's used when you want to describe something about someone. For instance, you're smart means you are smart. Here, your is describing a characteristic of you. It's easy to mix up these two words since they sound almost identical. But remember, your points to possession while your is a friendly contraction of you are. So if you're talking about something that belongs to someone, use your. And if you're describing something about someone, use your. Next time, make sure you're using your and your correctly. Let's look at a tricky one. It's and its. Now, these two may look almost identical, but they function quite differently. It's, without an apostrophe, is a possessive pronoun. It's used to denote ownership or possession. For example, in the sentence, "The dog wagged its tail," its is showing that the tail belongs to the dog. On the other hand, it's with an apostrophe is a contraction. It's a shorter way of saying it is or it has. When you see its, try substituting it with it is or it has. If the sentence still makes sense, then its is the correct choice. For instance, in the sentence, "It's raining," its is a contraction of it is. It's a subtle difference, but it's one that can change the meaning of your sentence. So be mindful when you're writing. Remember, its is always short for it is or it has. If the sentence makes sense with either of these, then its is the correct choice. Now let's tackle affect and effect, two words that even native speakers get mixed up. These words sound similar, but their meanings are quite different. Affect is typically used as a verb, and it means to influence. For instance, we could say, "The weather can greatly affect your mood." Here, affect is indicating how the weather is influencing or changing your mood. On the other hand, effect is usually a noun that means a result. If we change our previous sentence to use effect, it would be, "The weather can have a great effect on your mood." In this context, effect is the outcome or the result of the weather on your mood. But remember, English is a tricky language and there are exceptions. Sometimes affect can be a noun and effect can be a verb, but those uses are less common. Keep in mind, affect is the action and effect is the end result. And that's your key to distinguishing between these two tricky words. Let's quickly recap what we've learned today. We've dived deep into the intricacies of English grammar, particularly concerning some commonly confused words. We began our journey by distinguishing between there, and there. Remember, there is a possessive pronoun, there is a contraction of they are, and there refers to a place or position. We then explored the differences between your and your. Your is possessive, indicating something that belongs to you. Your, on the other hand, is a contraction of you are. It's all about ownership versus being. Moving along, we tackled its and its. Its is another possessive pronoun, used when referring to something that owns or possesses something else. Its is a contraction of it is or it has. It's all about possession versus existence. Lastly, we delved into affect and effect. Affect is typically a verb, meaning to influence or make a difference to something, while effect is usually a noun, representing a change that is a result or consequence of an action or other cause. Remember, it's all about action versus outcome. These might seem like minor distinctions, but they can make a significant difference in how your sentences are interpreted. Misusing these words can lead to misunderstandings and confusion. But by understanding their correct usage, we can make our communication more precise and clear. Remember, English grammar is a vast field with numerous rules and exceptions. What we've covered today is just the tip of the iceberg. There's so much more to learn and understand, but don't feel overwhelmed. Take it one step at a time and you'll gradually build up your knowledge and skills. By avoiding these common mistakes, you're on your way to mastering English grammar. Keep practicing and you'll improve over time. Grammar, like any other skill, gets better with practice. So keep learning, keep exploring, and keep improving. Your journey to mastering English grammar is well underway. Keep going and you'll reach your destination sooner than you think.